Join us on this week's Taking Care of Business. We're going to talk about branded residences in Dubai. We're going to talk about what they are. The big thing that you're touching on there is the lifestyle people are buying into. We're going to talk about rental premiums being achieved this year of 169%, capital appreciation of up to 200%. Obviously, the rental returns you're getting, you're commanding a lot. There's a lot more demand in the market, and you're getting a lot higher returns. But why there's more reasons than that investors are flocking to branded residences in Dubai at the moment. Next year, there's 36 branded residences due to come on board.
The feel was completely different to everyone else. Then you've obviously got your F&B. Said you got your wellness and everything else. The gym and the spas, they were always 5-6 times better than any normal residential apartment block.
Tune in to find out more. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Taking Care of Business. Today I've got our Managing Director, Marc Walters, with us, and we're going to be talking about branded residences, which are hugely on the increase in Dubai, but I think on a global level as well, we're seeing more branded residences around the world. There's a report that Lewis put out in the National today, and I think the US next year, there's 36 branded residences due to come on board. So it's not just a Dubai phenomenon, that's how you say the word. But it is something we're seeing more of in Dubai. So first off, let's ask the question, what is a branded residence?
Well, obviously it's probably one of the buzzwords of the last 2 years, but it's been going on, Paul, since I think it was 2009, 2010. The first branded residence in Dubai was Armani.
In the Burj Khalifa.
It had Burj Khalifa, what was actually known as the Tall Tower.
That's original,
yeah. Isn't it? And obviously they changed Burj Khalifa to obviously the with the connections with Abu Dhabi. But what happened is that they brought in Armani, and Armani were residential apartments. Now it was the first time we'd seen that in the market because there was no branded residences, and the price per square foot was significantly higher than what the original prices were in the Tall Tower or the Burj Khalifa. But what that gave was obviously something in the market that was completely different. Now, fast forward where we are today. Well, not fast forward, but then a few years later, maybe a couple of years later, the address management done the same. So initially you had the address downtown, followed by the address mall, and now you've got a multitude of addresses.
The address really created a brand for themselves.
Well, listen, that was the benchmark, in my opinion. The address was, without doubt, the best address in the whole of Dubai, in my opinion, and that correlated with the price. The prices were probably 3 or 4 times more in terms of price per square foot than what even say the residences now, which is not a branded residences, but it's right on the front by the water. And it's just, that's the question is, it's the lifestyle. When you used to go into the address, just first of all, a smell. Then you had, it's not as prominent now in terms of brands and, let's say, wellness and things like that as what it was. But they were the benchmark in terms of when you walk into the lobby, it was just completely different. The feel was completely different to everyone else. Then you've obviously got your F&B. Said you got your wellness and everything else. The gym and the spas, they were always 5-6 times better than any normal residential apartment block. So they set the benchmark, but then later on down the line, we've seen a serious spike since 2000, what are we now, 2023? Probably 2 years ago. I think you mentioned there was 36 across the world there.
Yeah, I think 36 in the US market next year that are going to come online.
I think there's 92 here now.
Yeah.
Obviously not delivered, but I think there's 92. And what it brings, Paul, people now in Dubai, especially the people that are coming to Dubai, they want that turnkey, asset. When they leave, they live in their home country, or they live here, and then they go to their second home, which is a branded residences.
Let's touch on that, because when we say branded residences, sometimes you might think, okay, it's the Armani residence, maybe the furniture is designed by Armani and et cetera, and the finish and the really the interior designer of the hotel. But in terms of the residences, when we're talking about branded residences, What is it? What else are people getting? So let's use Atlantis Royale
Yep.
as an example.
So Atlantis Royale at the moment, obviously, it's being delivered. And again, I'm not comparing the address downtown to the Atlantis Royal. I'm not comparing that. But at the time, the Atlantis Royal is the equivalent, if that makes any sense, on a much larger scale. Let's look at F&B first. I think of the Michelin-starred restaurants, they weren't here in Dubai. I think they come 2 years back, and there's 14 restaurants that have got a Michelin-starred against their name, 1 and 2 stars, no 3 stars yet. I think Atlantis Royale, they are home to 3 of them. You've got Heston Blumenthal, you've got Hakkasan, obviously that's not in Atlantis Royale, Hakkasan, and there's one other I think that's in there. So what you're finding is these brands want to be associated with the likes of the Atlantis Royale, and that's the thing. You're finding these brands like the Spa.
Yeah,
I think the Spa at the moment, Paul, is known as it's Zero. Now Zero is a massive brand. I think they look after AC Milan, which is a football team in Italy. They also look after world sports stars. There's a guy who's a swimmer called Adam Peaty. They look after him. And again, it's driven by complete class, complete wellness, and it sets the bar from anything else. It does. And then you look at the facilities in the Atlantis Royale. We went there the other week, and it's second to none over anything I've seen in the whole of Dubai. Not just the food and beverage. Nobu was obviously there as well, which we'll touch on in a minute. Nobu's there. You have, again, like I said, you have Heston Blumenthal. You have a few other well-known restaurants that have also got these what do you call it? These accreditations against their name.
It's funny you mentioned Adam Peaty because he's from South Manchester, from my neck of the woods. Adam Peaty, the swimmer.
Yeah.
Probably quite similar, South Manchester and Atlantis Royale in terms of...
Very similar, Cheadle, Salford, places like that, very, very similar. But no, it just, like I say, it just shows what they're trying to do at the moment.
The big thing that you're touching on there is the lifestyle people are buying into. People are going to these places for... Atlantis Royale, you can get Nobu delivered to your sunbed.
Yeah.
Which sounds extravagant, but it is extravagant. Yeah. That's what people are paying for. You've got the incredible spa facilities down there. You've got everything you need to have a luxurious lifestyle right there in the development.
You don't have to move.
Yeah.
I think also something to touch on as well, and again, I'm going off topic here, but you understand where I'm going. I think we've done a lot in the last 2 or 3 years with people buying plots. Now, obviously, in the likes of your Emirates Hills and your Dubai Hills, you still have 8, 9, 10 bedroom villas. What I think people are doing now, Paul, I think people are stripping that back and they're making their homes into a mini branded hotel, if you want to look at it. Obviously, it's not branded as such, but they want a plunge pool, they want a gymnasium, they want a spa type of area. So what they're doing is they're compromising bedrooms or sizes of living areas for outside space to have that wellness within their own home. So they have that turnkey and they don't have to move from where they live.
Definitely. So in terms of from an investment point of view, because obviously you purchase a branded residence at a premium compared to the rest of the market. So are we saying they're just a luxury lifestyle choice, or are they also a good investment as well?
I think let's not say every single branded residences are commercially viable, but they're not going to get this ridiculous ROI or this ridiculous capital appreciation. I think you've got to be specific. If you look at, let's talk about capital appreciation for argument's sake. I think this year, Paul, the last 2 weeks, the most expensive apartment sold on record was in the Bulgari. It was actually in Jumeirah, Marsa Al Arab. That was sold at 420 million dirhams. Prior to that, you had Bulgari Lighthouse. Obviously, in the last 2 weeks, Como Residences have just announced that they've sold the most expensive apartment ever, the third most expensive on record worldwide at 500 million. But in terms of capital appreciation, some of these developments, in some cases, have increased by 150, 200% in some cases. You know what I mean? So in terms of capital appreciation since they launched, absolutely. But again, with specific branded residences. In terms of ROI, if you're looking to rent your property, you're probably typically looking at anything between 4 to 7, 8%, dependent again on where it is. You're going to pay more service fees, but obviously with your service fees, you get far more.
You get just to give an example from the banyan tree in Jumeirah Lake Towers. I've got a stat here that we generated from Data Hub. So the premium for an apartment, regular 1 or 2 bedroom apartments in the banyan tree in JLT compared to other 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in JLT is around 169%.
Yeah.
So the service charges are higher, but obviously the rental returns you're getting, you're commanding a lot. There's a lot more demand in the market, and you're getting a lot higher return. So really, branded residences, then they're almost like a central London type investment where the capital appreciation, 4 to 8% in your pocket is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite comparable to a lot of the market.
London, place like
But people purchase in London for the security of the asset and future capital appreciation. So we're probably putting branded residence on that kind of category.
100%. We look at the names as well, but you look at One Zabil, that's about to hand over in the next 2 or 3 months. Again, going back to, sorry to harp on about food and beverage, but there was the guy was getting interviewed who's been named the world's #1 chef yesterday. You know, you've got, again, going back to the Kirsner group, they've gone in there with Zero with the spa. You look at the W Residences, which is already up and running on the Palm. You've got Six Senses, a massive brand, again, going back to hospitality and wellness. So all of these things, again, it's surrounded by, and again, it's a big wellness these last 5 or 6 years. It's been massive. And I think the brands have jumped onto that as well, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I've just got another stat here to share with everyone. Just to give a comparison in terms of, just giving a rental one in terms of a price comparison. So a 3-bedroom in the Marina, non-branded 3-bedroom might go for approximately 1.41. So we sold one in Marina Pinnacle 20 days ago for 1.41 million. A 3-bedroom, similar size square foot in Vida Dubai Marina, we just sold for 6.5 million. So there's a 5 million swing in the price there.
It's massive, but I see people are seeing a value in this.
Yeah.
And again, the people or the individuals that are coming to Dubai, Paul, this is what they want. They don't want the headache of, that's why I think we're seeing in our, off topic again, going from our residential sales, people want that. They don't want to have the headache of renovating a property, trying to find the property first and then renovating. So they are paying a 15, 20% premium on properties that have been upgraded, that do have all these facilities in it. You know, it's the same again as the apartments or branded residence, because it's not just apartments that you've got branded residence. You've obviously got, there's got the Lamborghini villas in Dubai Hills. You've also got, going back to the address, they've also got branded residences that are villas as well. So it's not just the apartments as well.
I think you've summed it up well. There's a gentleman called Anwar Ali Aman, who's the co-founder and CEO of Wow Resorts. There's a quote from him for some of the work they're doing. He said, high net worth individuals looking for an elevated experience are our target buyers. 100%. And that is what branded residences is, I guess.
100%. Without a doubt. But I think people as well are getting wise to it here, Paul. You know, you look at, I know we're looking at Dubai here, but Nobu has just been launched in Ras Al Khaimah. Behind Nobu is H&H, an unbelievable brand that we know is going to be delivered and is going to be a very, very good property. You've also got Nikki Beach, which is a well-renowned brand across the world as well. When these guys start coming to town and they go to, I think it pricks our ears up in looking at Marjan Island. That's just, we went there the other day and there's nothing there at the moment. But you know, if these guys are coming to the table, you know that it's going to be of class. Again, lifestyle is going to be top notch as well. So it's not just Dubai that are making a move with branded residences as well.
So to sum it up, because obviously a lot of people watching this probably aren't going to be buying a branded residence at any time soon, but all this activity we're talking about coming to the market or to the market in Dubai, how does that affect the rest of the real estate market?
I think, listen, you're always going to, in terms of, say, averages, people are always going to go towards their bread and butter. You know, you look at the data, or not the data, you look at the numbers this year. Well, it is data in, I suppose. You look at the numbers this year of properties that have sold plus $10 million. Now, I think we're around about the 340 to 350 mark, which is the highest amount of properties that have sold over $10 million in dollars within a city. But still 76% of properties have sold sub 3 million dirhams. That's never going to go away. That's never, ever going to go away. So I think whilst there is a massive buzz around branded residences, and I think that it's going to be for quite some time, but again, going back to what I was saying, is being specific when I believe you're investing your money into a branded residence, being specific on who is behind it. So important. But in terms of resi and residential sales and branded residences, I still think the residential sales are still going to outweigh the brand.
I think it'll elevate
as well.
We're talking about Business Bay, the Dorchester and SLS. So if you're an investor or property owner or even a tenant in Business Bay, these are prestigious brands to be close to, nearby to have on the doorstep of you. So it's only going to elevate the properties and the real estate around them.
I think what will happen is the older developments, let's say for instance, in downtown, obviously you've got St. Regis now. I think the developments in and around there, not your branded residents, they're going to have to up the game as well. They are, because they're getting a little bit tired. Some of them are 10, 15 years old now. So like you say, it will elevate. I think these are master developers as such, where they are going to have to spend maybe a few dirhams on upgrading these older towers, you know?
Which is crazy, because when we say older, they're not really that old, and they have got good facilities already. Yeah. But I know the sentiment that you're sharing and what you're saying.
But I think, like, start from where we started, I think the wellness side of things, Paul, you know, people now are so fixated on their well-being, health, fitness.
Which is a good thing. Yeah.
Listen, healthy minders, you know, you go to gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, you come to work and you're chomping at the bit. So I think that side of things, the wellness side of things, I think it's fantastic it really is for our market. I think it's superb. But again, do your homework before you start, you know, Mark and Paul said, but to jump into the market and buy only buy branded, make sure you do your homework on what you're buying as well. A, developers, B, the brand as well. Do they have an input to build? Do they have an input to the facilities? That's so important.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Are they just almost kind of subleasing their brand, or are they having an active involvement in terms of what's happening?
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you very much,
Cheers,
Mark.
Paul.
If anyone has any questions on branded residences, anything they want us to elaborate on further, please let us know. In the meantime, if you could like, share, follow, etc., all the usual stuff. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.